So hello and good evening, this is Ruth Pozuelo from Curbal.com, and today's video I am going to show you how to create your own functions in Power Query. And this is a part one. I will do a few more videos about it, but this is the first introduction. You and me are going to create the first function. But before we jump into Power BI, I think we need to explain first what is a function. I'm not sure that everybody knows what it is. And just think of a function like this. If you need to write the same code more than 3 times, you should write a function. Okay? So basically, functions allows you to reduce code. It just puts a bit of code into a box, and then you can move that box whatever you wanted and use the code. Extremely useful. And I have a video on how to import OneDrive Personal data or files into Power BI, and that is a perfect example for how to create functions. So we are going to create a function to get OneDrive data into Power BI. And we won't need to rewrite the code every time. We write the function and then we can reuse it every time we need OneDrive data. Okay? So let's begin. This is going to be fun. Make sure you grab a cup of coffee. I don't think it will be a short video. But I will go step by step, so I want to make sure that you don't miss anything, that I can explain things clearly, okay? So grab a cup of coffee, and if you haven't seen the OneDrive video, I will post a link below. Make sure you watch that first, at least OneDrive for Personal, so you can see how it's done manually, okay? And then you can come back here and follow me on this tutorial. So let's begin. Okay, so here we are in Power BI, and this is a Power BI file where I collect your DAX Fridays feedback. As you know, every Friday I have a video on DAX, and I have an Excel forum where you can give me feedback, and it's stored on my OneDrive Personal. And with this code, I actually manually go into OneDrive, get the data from the Excel file, and import it here. If we go here to the advanced editor, you will see the entire code. But actually what we need to create a function for is the first part. So it's basically how to import an Excel file from OneDrive. So the structure for that is here. This is the URL that we need to be able to get the data from OneDrive. You have to have this bit of text, and then you have to have a parameter here, a number, another one here, and another one here. And these will change for every file. So Excel will give you the numbers for this for each file. And on the video on how to import data from OneDrive Personal, I'll show you how to get this. So what we need to do to create a function is substitute these to variables or parameters. So we need to take them out of here and be able to input them manually outside. So basically we rewrite these, and here we need to have a res ID variable. Here we need to have an authentication key. Variable. And here we need to have EM, I have no idea what it is, but it's another code that we need. So these 3 things we need to configure them as parameters for our function. So when we input these and these and these, our code will work, basically. Okay? So how do we do this? We have a piece of text and we have a variable, piece of text of variable, piece of text, variable, piece of text. So we need to format this in a few ways. Let me show you. Let's not have hyperlinks, thank you. So the first part is text. So this is going to be a part of a URL that is always the same. OneDrive, come on, or Word. So we want to have these like that, and then here we want to concatenate our variable, and then this is text. Okay, and then we want to concatenate our variable. This is the same as Excel. You use this and it will concatenate. Ouch. And then we have a piece of text again. And then we have to concatenate our variable. And then we have some piece of text. Okay. So now we have created our parametric sites. Oh gosh, how do you say that in English? URL. And we have to put it together. So let's do that. We get that in there, we get that in there, we get that in there, and that, and that, and that. And here we have the URL with parameters on it. So the only thing we need to do now is, watch this. We copy this one. We go into Power BI. Let's duplicate that so we don't break anything, or if we break it, we don't, you know, we can recover. Go to Advanced Editor. Now we need to substitute everything that is between brackets after web content with our new parametricized URL. So we put in there. Now, we need to tell Power Query, hey, I have 3 parameters here, and the way to do it is like this. Parentheses, res. Make sure that you spell things correctly, because as you know, Power Query is case sensitive. That means that it makes difference between capital letters and not. Still, there's something wrong. Oh, yes. When you copy from Word, these things get copied incorrectly. I don't know why, but it happens always. Okay. So, there's something wrong with this, but I want you to see it. It just makes things more clear. So we have our parameters here. This is how you call a parameter. You say to Power Query, hey, Power Query, I have 3 parameters: res ID, authentication key, and this EM, whatever that is. And they are built in this URL. We click done. And you've recognized that from the functions I'm showing you, right? These become suddenly parameters. As you can see, I haven't defined the parameters as nothing. I just put the parameters and nothing else. So here it says optional, optional, optional. And that works sometimes. In this case, it's not going to work, because this is what we're going to do. We're going to test if we've done correctly. So we go to our original URL and we try the function that we just created. So we go back in there. Let me paste that. And here we have the first parameter that we need. There we have the second one. Ouch. And there we have the third one. So here is one parameter. This is another parameter. And that is the third parameter. Okay, so now let's test the function. This is our first parameter. Let's go to the function we created and we just write it in there. We go to the next parameter, we copy. So the user next time, we will only need to know these, and it will be able to just get the data like that. So we go to the last one, and it's 2, like we can very well write that 2. Now watch what happens. It says, something is wrong. And what can it be wrong? If you look up here, this is how the function was called. You see this, gosh, I never remember how these are called. But you know, these small things that say that is text. So we have text, and then we have a number. and you cannot have numbers in URLs. So basically, because we put a number here and we didn't say what this should be, it just said, okay, this must be a number, and then you put a number into a URL, and that is not allowed. So let's make some changes. These REST ID and auth key are always going to be text, but the M is going to be number. So we want it as text. And you have the possibility to specify this as you like. It could be as date, as drop down, as whatever. Let's write it correctly first. And of course you can, and perhaps you should, define what your variables are. And now watch the difference. You see, example, example, example. So now it says, okay, it has to be text. We cannot convert the value to text, and this is because it already identified as number. But if we write it like that, we get another error. Okay, let's see what that is. Now, this is quite common. You are actually going to get these type of errors all the time. So you just need to learn how to troubleshoot them. And this is actually a very helpful error, because it's actually telling you, okay, this is, with the way you wrote your function, this is what I've got. So copy it, and let's put it in here. So it has a REST ID like that, which is nothing of what we want. It has 2 authorization keys and 2 EM keys. So something is really wrong. This is not the way the URL should have been done. So let's go back and look at our URL. And as you remember, these things that got, you know, when you copy it from Word, they don't translate correctly. You have to change it everywhere. I just wanted to see you to see the errors. You are going to get those errors often as you write your parameters, but don't worry, you can troubleshoot them. You just have to check that the URL you got is the one that you expected. So now I think I remove all of the bad text indicators. Okay, let's go back. What did it say? The name was not recognized. How about that? Yay! You see, you can troubleshoot them. It's no problem. And I'm not going to edit away the mistakes, because I've made them on purpose for you to see them. I always get errors when I create my functions. I have to retry probably like 3-4 times, and then I get them. So once you write everything correctly, then you will get your parameter working. And now we have, voila. So what does it mean? What a function really means is that now I have these. I can copy it in a new Power BI file. Let's do it. Let's create a new one. Get data, blank query, because we already have the code that we want. Advanced editor, paste, and voila. And if I put the code here, I can get my Excel file or other Excel file where I have the keys for. How amazing is this, right? And as you can see, okay, you have to be very careful when you write, but other than that, it's super easy. It's very, 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 very easy. So this is part 1. In part 2, I am going to show you how to document these functions with help of Lars Schreiber. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really, really hope that you give it a go. Go to your OneDrive Personal. Everybody has a OneDrive Personal nowadays, and just try to make that function for yourself. It's a lot of fun. I will have the link to, I should actually show you that. But I will put it on the description box, a link to the function on my GitHub, so you can go there and grab it in case nothing works for you, but give it a go yourself first. Okay, so if you liked part 1 of functions in Power Query, thumbs up, so I keep doing more of that content. If you know somebody that is having trouble creating functions or would like to get started, share it with them. If you're new to Power BI, make sure you subscribe. I publish 3 videos a week, and click the bell to receive notifications when I do. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!